Today we're going to learn about the legend of Comadre Fulosinha. She is the spirit of a cabocla with long black hair that covers her entire body. Very agile, she lives in the forest defending animals and plants against the attacks of those who destroy nature. She has the ability to confuse the minds of people who enter her territory, making them get lost and unable to find their way out. She likes to receive gifts, especially oatmeal porridge, candies, and honey. When pleased, she quickly makes the hunt appear for whoever offered her the treat. And she allows this person to leave the forest. Some elders claim to talk to her, usually at dawn near the woods. According to them, the spirit likes to approach the elders because they don't represent danger, and mainly they usually always give her something. She has a mischievous personality, sometimes evil, other times kind. It really depends on the person she meets. It's said that she violently cuts with her hair those who enter the forest without bringing an offering, and she also twists the person's tongue. Stealthy, her whistle gets quieter the closer she is, making it seem like she's far away. She also likes to braid and tie knots in the manes and tails of horses. Only she can undo them, of course, if she's pleased with treats. Mate Fulosinha was a child full of energy and loved to play in the forest, but one day she wandered too far from home and ended up getting lost. After searching so much for the way back, she ended up dying of exhaustion. Her spirit began to wander through the forest in search of the way back. However, she adopted the forest as her new home. Mapinguari is a very different animal from those that live in the forest. He is a humanoid creature covered with very thick fur. They are so tough that they make him invulnerable to arrows, bullets, practically any projectile, except for the area corresponding to his mouth. Vertical takes up a large part of his body. According to legend, he is a terrible enemy of man. He devours only the head. Most of those who claim to have seen a Pinguari describe him as a tall creature that would reach 2 meters in height. When he stands on his 2 legs, he also gives off a very strong smell. Extremely unpleasant for anyone unlucky enough to be within a 3-kilometer radius. Other reports say he wears armor made from turtle shells. For others, his skin is like alligator leather. Some say his feet are similar to those of horses, with hooves as hard as stone. A Pinguaria lets out a scream similar to a shriek, given by hunters. If someone answers, he will soon go after the unsuspecting person and attacks him, devouring only the head. Few manage to survive an encounter with this bizarre animal. When that happens, they usually end up crippled or with horrible scars all over their bodies. They say a Pinguari only roams the forest during the day because he prefers to sleep and rest at night. But if he's woken up while he's sleeping, that's it, buddy. He becomes more aggressive and starts running, screaming, breaking branches, knocking down trees, leaving behind a trail of destruction and death. According to the researcher David Oren, a legendary explanation for a Pinguari is that he would be an indigenous person, a shaman who discovered the secret of immortality, but the price he paid for it was turning into a horrible and stinky animal. According to Domingos Parintintim, chief of an Amazonian tribe, the only way to kill a Pinguari is by hitting the animal on the head. However, he says that the best thing to do is to climb a tree and hide instead of trying to kill it, since the creature has the power to make its victim dizzy and see day turn into night. A young couple is having fun in an arcade. He just lost to her on one of those dance machines. They catch their breath and walk through the arcade. It's not crowded. Tonight the two of them can choose any game they want. Her boyfriend notices something. It's a door at the back of the arcade and the lock is kind of open, you know? They got curious, wondering, could there be broken games in there? Maybe the ones you can play without having to spend any money. The two of them agreed to go in. And they found a dark room that doesn't seem to be visited very often. Full of cobwebs and dust everywhere, my partner. And really, man, there were a lot of broken games in there. They're leaving when they hear a noise. They stop and look at each other. The young woman screams in fear when she sees an old woman looking at her. The boyfriend laughs at the girl for being afraid of a game. It's just an old fortune teller. They must have called her by accident and didn't realize it. Its inside is now lit up, revealing the animatronic head and torso of an old woman. It's not moving, but its glazed, lifeless eyes keep staring at the young woman. The two look at each other, not knowing what to do, when suddenly the old woman comes to life. With the click and hum of gears, she seems to take a deep breath. The young woman walks toward the fortune teller, while the old woman keeps breathing. But then out of nowhere she stops. There was another loud click as a card appeared from a small slot at the front of the machine. She looks at the card, then looks up to see that the old woman is looking at her once again, as if the robotic figure could actually see her. The young woman slowly picks up the card, and at the exact moment she pulls it, everything goes dark and the old woman collapses. "What is that?" her boyfriend asks. She looks at the card and her face changes as she reads it. "Hey, look at this," says her partner while she quickly hides the card in her pocket. He goes behind the old lady's machine and pulls out a small piece of wire that was cut. It wasn't even connected, it was just sitting there. So they got out of there. Later that night, the two are at the door of the young woman's apartment. He asks if she's okay. Then she answers that everything's fine, and they probably just touched the button, and the machine turned on, since there was still some battery power left. She says goodbye and goes into her apartment. Inside, the young woman leans against the door. She takes the card out of her pocket that came from the machine, and it sees the following.
"It looks like you made some mistakes. Some things are unforgivable."
It's not possible. It's just a coincidence. It can only be that, a coincidence. He goes to his shelf and picks up a framed photo. It's a picture of her many years younger, with her sister. And he starts thinking about that night, the night he'll never forget no matter how hard he tries. The night when she
did that
to leave, and also part of herself. She puts the photo back on the table before looking at the card she's still holding in her other hand. She crumples the paper in her fist and throws it in the trash before going to bed. It's late at night and the young woman is tossing and turning with nightmares. When suddenly she wakes up, she heard a sound. She looks around her dark room, but nothing seems wrong. She hears the sound again. A noise is coming from where? From the closet? She gets out of bed and goes there, one slow step after another. She reaches the closet door, but the moment her fingers touch the handle, the door bursts open. She screams and falls backward as several arms reach out from the darkness of the closet toward her. She kicks and pushes the arms away as they grab her, trying to pull her inside. She fights with all her strength as she tries to crawl away, man. She manages to escape their grasp and stands up. She runs out of the room and heads toward the exit. However, the arms follow her, stretching out of the closet, man, growing longer and longer. The sound of bones twisting and breaking as they form new joints to bend. In agony, her hands reach for the doorknob and she grabs it just as the arms grab her. The young woman is pulled back and falls to the floor as the arms drag her down the hallway. She tries to resist, but it's useless.